Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy, Church of Caboose, and welcome back to my channel. We're going to talk about trials, specifically the flawless pool. Is it good or bad? Because, you know, lots of people are talking about it. So if you guys have any thoughts of this, let me know down below. I'll try to ask specific questions throughout the video. And, of course, like the video and subscribe to my channel. I had to bang my head into a wall like the whole gosh dang weekend trying to get clips for this. So if you guys help me out and subscribe and like the video, that'll let me know, like, hey, this kind of thing might be worth it in the future because people seem to like it. So keep that in mind. All right, so real quick, what is Trials and why do people want to play it? It's because there's a lot of new players, and so maybe this will help explain things a little bit. So Trials is 3-on-3. It's an elimination thing. It's supposed to be like that pinnacle end game activity thing, and the idea is to, in theory, you ultimately want to win 7 games with 0 losses. You go to the lighthouse, and you will get an adept weapon. The week of April Fools, April 1st of 2022, it happens to be the Adept Reed's Regret. Now, why PvE players tend to do Trials is because there's a couple of weapons that are really sought after for PvE. Currently, for Void 3.0, the Shayura's Wrath submachine gun and the Aisha Embrace, hopefully I said that right, scout rifle are Void weapons. So they work really well with Void 3.0. Then the Reed's Regret has stuff like triple tap Vorpal, triple tap firing line, which is really good for like raid DPS damage and Grandmaster damage and getting rid of champions and stuff. So there's a couple of weapons in there that are really good for PvE. So you know how sometimes you got PvE weapons that are great for PvP, like Ayazuna? Well, sometimes there's PvP weapons that are great for PvE. It's kind of a way to encourage everyone to play everything a little bit. And then the flawless pool is those people that have gone flawless at some point over that weekend. So from like April's 1st to like the 4th, for example. If they go flawless after Sunday, so Sunday reset to the end of that weekend, they are now in the flawless pool, meaning they're only playing against other players that have gone flawless that weekend. Everyone else is in the non-flawless pool. The intent of this is to make it where it's a little bit easier for scrubs such as myself to get some loot more efficiently, to get some wins, in theory, to go to the lighthouse. One of the things that's kind of encouraged this whole flawless pool out is they tried it out one weekend. I think it might have been like a labs thing, and a developer got flawless that had never gone flawless before, and Bungie was like, hey, this is obviously then a great thing, and they kept it going. I'm sure that developer wasn't the only one. It's just, you know, people tend to be more aware of that stuff because they want to get salty, so they point things out. Alright, so that's kind of the intent of the flawless pool, is to make it for all the scrubs like myself, where you got some part of the weekend where you're not playing against people that are as sweaty. You might have less things like carry teams. In theory, you'd have less folks with like 3 KDs and 400 flawlesses, that kind of thing, because they would all be in the flawless pool. In theory. Alright, what's actually happening is we got a lot of people that are resetting their cards after the 6th win, or at some point before the flawless game. So that way they don't ever actually go flawless. So it will help people go flawless and then wipe their card. Now I just want to point out, I am not talking about this stuff because I am salty. I am talking about this stuff because I just was like, you know, a lot of people are having a conversation about this. A lot of people seem to have strong opinions. I've now been in the flawless pool because I got carried this weekend. Some guys are like, hey, we're trying to get our flawless gilded. You haven't been flawless yet this season. Let us help you out. And we did it. And so now I have played in the flawless pool as well as the non-flawless pool. Definitely more time in the non-flawless pool. And I was like, you know what? I feel like I have feet to stand on for this conversation, and just thought we'd just go for it. All right, so that's what we're talking about this. So what's actually happening with the flawless pool, so we got people resetting their cards so they don't ever actually go flawless. So you got some top streamers, I mean, not necessarily top streamers, but people that are really good, and some of them do stream, that are carrying people like myself to flawless, but they themselves are not actually going flawless because they've reset, keeping themselves in the flawless pool, which is kind of pushing some people that are scrubs into the flawless pool that shouldn't be there. And of course there are lots of people that are there that should be there, and so then those people like myself that are in the flawless pool have an even harder time dealing with it. Now we could say we did that to ourselves, like that's not at all the focus of this thing. But what it's happening is there's not really a whole lot of incentive for people to be in said flawless pool, and so they're just kind of like, why bother? There's people that are not able to play with their friends because the flawless pool can get so sweaty there's no point at all in bringing in people that have not gone flawless with you, because they will be forced to play in that pool. So say I joined with 2 friends of mine that had not been flawless this weekend, but I had. We would then be in the flawless pool because I had gone flawless, even though they had not. So it's kind of punishing people for having friends go flawless. It's just limiting who you can play with. Also, the rewards are just not worth the effort. With PvE stuff, we could bang out probably 3 or 4 pinnacles in like 2 hours, maybe even more than that. When we're dealing with the flawless pool, I have been it's something like 2 hours, I think, on my hunter to get the 50-round pinnacle win. So that's not very efficient, right? And so we're not getting rewarded much for our time. And that's something that's going to really hurt the player base. And of course, there's people that are talking about how folks only want the flawless pool because they don't want to get good at the game, and they just want to have loot handed to them. And so, like, they should go screw themselves or just not play. And unfortunately, what's happening is they're just not playing. And so then it's just making it even worse for the people that are complaining. It's a whole thing. It's really funny, I think. They're like, oh my gosh, why won't people play? Scrub enters the game. Screw you, you're trash. Then why aren't people playing? Like, I don't know. I think it's pretty funny and also pretty stupid. So, flawless pool is just whack. Like, I don't really get why it's useful. I guess that's my opinion on the whole thing. It's not working out how it's supposed to in theory. In practice, it's just isolating people. It's making loot harder to get. And then we do have then maybe a slightly higher concentration almost of people in the non-flawless pool that are sweaty as hell and are really good because they're not going to the flawless pool because of the resets. And so if people are slowly not playing, or the other folks that actually go are getting taken on into the flawless pool, then the other people are left behind, and that number of who's possibly bumping into who slowly starts to shrink, and we got the skill creep, and it just gets bad, right? So skill creep is then something slowly gets good. So if you know that the whole range of players, right, from like the really, really crappy to the really, really good. So like the first couple of weeks, the really, really crappy people might end up stop playing. So then you got like players to really good. Then the players stop playing, and it's just the average players. And then the average players, and you kind of see how it goes up. And then eventually it's just the sweats with the sweats. And right now, that's kind of where we're at with trials, especially with the flawless pool. As I've been loading in, there's been lots of really strong teams with ridiculously good stats, like top something %, which is awful for me, being at like the top 98%. So, good for me, I guess, for not being top 99. But hey, like, it's just not a good experience for a lot of people. It's frustrating, folks. It makes it harder for people to help friends out, and there's just not a whole lot of positives that go behind having the flawless pool. Now, I would love to know below, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that the flawless pool is worth it? Is it working out in your favor? Are you like, this is great, I would love for this to keep going on? Or do you have different thoughts? Do you think if they got rid of the flawless pool, do you think more people would play? Do you think that there would be more people actually going flawless? I kind of think there would be, because if there's not a punishment for going flawless, well then why wouldn't you go flawless if you're capable of going flawless and then are still able to help your friends and play with them to get wins and all that good stuff. Some other downsides with the flawless pool is, I guess this is more trials in general, but I feel like I have to do this even more in the flawless pool, is using all the cheese, like main ingredient, the Lorelei Splendor with the bow. If you've seen some of these clips, like I'm able to take on some sniper dudes because of this helmet and the bow. And it's just making everyone have to use the most toxic loadouts they possibly can. And of course, Trials brings out the teabagging in everyone, and they just start being very polite little people. And I say that sarcastically. So I would love to know, like, I think there's a lot of pluses that could have happened with Flawless Pool, assuming everyone actually did what they thought they would do, which is if you can go flawless, then go flawless. But that's not what's actually happening. So if you guys have any thoughts, I would love to know it down below. I really appreciate it. Again, I'm a part of this tag organization now. We got like websites and things. I put links to that stuff all in the description. It's kind of cool. I haven't really been a part of a thing like this before. And it's kind of cool. The guy that started it, he's a cool dude. I think you guys would like it. So check us out. It's Tag Guardians or TA Guardians. And we got like all that stuff down below. Also, if you like this kind of a video, make sure you like and subscribe and comment, because it takes me a lot of time to get these clips. then I gotta like, put them on Twitter or something, and then download them off of Twitter, and it's just a whole thing. So if you guys can like be like, hey, we like this kind of effort, let me know, because then, you know, I have a way of tracking and being like, all right, I'm going to keep doing this kind of a thing because people seem to like it. I really appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts down below. Flawless pool is bad. I'm not sure who came up with it and thought this would be a good idea. Maybe we should do a labs weekend or two to see what happens if they don't do the flawless pool. I think that would be very telling. Thank you guys all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Have a great week and happy grinding, y'all.